My name is Olga. I am from Ukraine. When you're living abroad or outside your home country, it's very interesting and useful to find out how your country is perceived. What do people think and imagine when you tell them that you are from Ukraine? According to the analytical research conducted in 2021 by the Ukrainian Institute in the United Kingdom, the most common associations among Britons about Ukraine were related to Kiev, Chernobyl, Donbass, Crimea, sometimes to Maidan events, Ukrainian cooking, Eurovision as well. Some of the British people know persons like Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko, Shevchenko, but not Taras Shevchenko, the famous Ukrainian poet. They know Andrei Shevchenko, the famous Ukrainian football player. It looks very humble. In my opinion, Ukraine can be presented to the world in many different ways. But its most effective way is through traditional culture. Despite the fact that we all live now in a digital society, traditional culture plays an important role. It preserves the national identity, national history, national traditions. But today, traditional culture can perform a lot of different and actual functions. For example, as a visiting professor at the University of Lincoln, I have been studying the experience the Mobile Arts for Peace project. This project was implemented by the team of researchers from several countries, headed by the talented professor at the University of Lincoln, Ananda Breed. The Mobile Arts for Peace project was carried out in Rwanda, Indonesia, Nepal, Kyrgyzstan. The results of this project have shown that art, in particular traditional art, can help to solve the many complicated social issues, achieve the dialogue and reconciliation in societies that have gone through different types of conflict. It all confirms that traditional culture can provide a wide range and actual social functions. In case in Ukrainian society, it can demonstrate it through its Ukrainian traditional folk song, because on different stages of Ukrainian history, it performed many special functions, particularly the function of cultural diplomacy, the function of uniting, the function of overcome the cultural trauma. Actually, at the beginning of the 20th century, Ukrainian folk song was used as a tool of cultural diplomacy. In this way, the Ukrainian government tried to represent the country through its uniqueness, choral culture, and folk song. To this goal, the Ukrainian choral chapel went on a tour of Europe and for performance Ukrainian song. I hope you have probably heard of the Christmas carol, Carol of the Bells. It's well known as an American Christmas carol, but it's actually famous Ukrainian folk song, Щедрик, arranged by the Ukrainian composer Mykola Leontovich. Amazing performance of this song by the Ukrainian choir went on a tour of America, made it so popular in all over the world. So you can see why this case is not surprising. Once Ukrainian choir went on a tour to the United States of America and performed the song Щедрик. After performance, one American man from audience turned to the choir members and said, "I loved your version, Carol of the Bells, but it seems like you got what's wrong." It's a brilliant evidence how Ukrainian traditional folk song has become a soft power of cultural diplomacy. Today about this, we have fundamental research about this by the Ukrainian journalist Tina Peresunka. It's called Щедрик Against Russia World, Simon Petlura's Cultural Diplomacy, Mission to the Chapel of Alexander Koshets. At the beginning of the 21st century, Ukrainian traditional folk song became a symbol of our unity. I remember these first sounds of explosions in early morning of 24 February 2022. There was shock, stress, fear. Women with children were living in Kiev. men were going to the military bases. At that time, in center of empty Kiev, on St. Sophia Square, the Ukrainian traditional folk song, "O There Is a Red Kalina on the Meadow," was sounded. It was performed by the leader of boombox band, Andriy Khlevnyuk. It was very symbolic because it was this exact place, this exact song was performed 100 years ago. That was time when Ukrainian armed forces were gathering to defend their young Ukrainian state. Over 100 years, this Ukrainian traditional folk song became a symbol of our unity once again. Later, it was well known in many countries. It began to sound in different languages from many stages of entire civilized world that supported Ukraine. The therapeutic potential of Ukrainian traditional folk song makes it an effective tool of overcome the cultural trauma. Cultural trauma is a very complicated social phenomenon. It has been described by well-known sociologists in their work, Cultural Trauma and Collective Identity. The researchers emphasize that cultural trauma means the destruction of community existence, its values, ideological and cultural foundations. Unfortunately, many modern societies that have gone through war, ethnic and other types of conflict have experienced the cultural trauma. But it's not only a social phenomenon. Each individual is affected. To overcome the cultural trauma can be used the Ukrainian traditional folk song. But why and how? First of all, Ukrainian traditional folk songs are traditionally performed by a choir. Choral performance creates a special atmosphere of unity. It helps to fight depression, reduces stress, gives a feeling of safety. In addition, Ukrainian traditional folk songs, such as lullabies, are performed without musical accompaniment, a cappella. The human voice provides a special vibrations. It helps reduce the stress and tense, especially in children. The next point is, music always evokes certain emotions. Ukrainian folk songs, such as lullabies, contain many positive images. It helps to replace the negative emotions to positive ones, to relax and calm down. Using the therapeutic potential of Ukrainian traditional folk song is very much needed in Ukraine now. This is why many government and non-government organizations are creating the mental health program for Ukrainian children, young people, soldiers, volunteers, and whole Ukrainian society. So, if you want to hear the soul of Ukrainian people, you should have a listen to their traditional folk song. Because music, as an international language, can persuade people how important it is supported Ukraine and demonstrate their solidarity with Ukraine. Thank you.